What's up, everyone? Join Tyler and I as we sit down and chat about some common nutrition myths on the internet. And when you fall off the horse, how you can get back up, get on it, and keep rolling. Stay tuned, hang out for the chat, let us know what you think, and we hope you enjoy. It's been wild. So you said business has been good.
Yep.
What kind of clients have you been taking on recently?
It's always Gen Pop. My three new ones. One is a 50-something-year-old woman, just wants to lose weight. The typical. Was doing a lot of classes, a lot of going out, a lot of drinking. So it's just fixing up the macros and stuff. And of course, after week one, she's like, oh my God, I feel so much better not drinking all the time and going out. And it's like, yes. Another one is a 21-year-old out in Missouri. She, same kind of thing, likes to go out a lot. She drinks, typical college girl, got off of her plan, needs, a little bit more critiquing in terms of her workouts and stuff, because she had ACL surgery twice on the same knee because it didn't take the first time. So I had her tape a couple of her motions, and I was like, okay, well, this is why your knee hurts during those motions, because they definitely shouldn't,
Yeah.
quarter range on her squats, and lunges, the back knee is before the hip, so it's like it's too close of a stance rather than in line. So little tweaks for that. And then my buddy's mom actually reached out to me, so 60-something-year-old who has the time but does only Orange Theory classes and under eats. So the typical, hey, let's focus on this. Let's get you weightlifting at least twice a week, and you can still do your Orange Theories. I'm not going to tell you not to.
No.
Just basic stuff, and then hopefully wean her off of the Orange Theories and getting her weightlifting a little bit more. But it's been good. It's just it's typical gym pop. Those happen to be all women. I think I get a little bit more women than men usually. That happens to be the case. I think that's probably the majority of my online people. So just waiting for referrals. Hopefully the posting and all that fun jazz eventually gets the online people. I'm trying to figure out that trick where people reach out because of my website or something. So
it
is,
it's the long game for sure.
Yep.
Long game. So when someone comes to you with these three people, your typical weight loss goals, or I guess the last person might be a little bit less of a weight loss goal and more of a
it's still a weight loss goal. It's still like a 10-pound weight loss goal.
What do you start with?
Sure. So my typical thing with these kind of people, because I know you wanted to talk about nutrition today. Because that's usually where most people struggle. First thing I have people do is track, just to get them at least to some sort of adherence for about a week. I'll have people track, and then I'll take a look at their food. So this way I can see what they're eating, how much they're eating, where they kind of fall based off their daily. Most of my women undereat significantly in protein. Usually from day to day, the calories are so every which way, so there's no consistency. And then, depending on the foods, most of them actually end up eating fairly healthy.
Yeah.
A couple things here and there, maybe like some protein bars or certain things I wouldn't necessarily have in there, or under eating in fruits and veggies, like classics. So I'll usually start there, and then it's kind of figuring out, okay, most of these people, at least in women, tend to eat maybe 1,000 to 1,300 calories. Where when you start to do, again, this is obviously based off age and how active they are and whatnot. Most of their maintenance calories are going to be between 1,800 and maybe 2,300, depending on the individual and how tall they are. So because they all undereat, I almost have to recomp every single person. As we both know, you can't put someone in a deficit if they're already in a deficit. So it's getting them to understand that there's probably going to be a little weight gain on the upfront. Doesn't mean they're gaining fat, but it's probably because they're holding water since we are eating more food. We're also going to be building muscle in the first couple months of progress here. And we're going to slowly get you to understand that we're eating more food even though the scale's not moving, we're probably going to get body recomp. So almost every single time in those first, let's say 3 months,
Yeah.
maybe it all depends, right? Sometimes their weight actually does go down even though you're feeding them more, which is
Yeah.
great. But if that off chance that it doesn't, you will always see that their measurements are different, like their waist measurements,
Yep.
or really just in pictures they look more defined. You can tell that they have muscles in certain places. Maybe their butt is raised, their waist is tapered.
Yep.
They're like, but we're eating more. It's like, yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, no, I made you do that on purpose.
Yeah, so it's getting them to, as we know, getting their hormones in check,
Yep.
getting their metabolism to speed up a little bit, build muscle and strength, and then after however many months, start to bring it back down into a little bit of a deficit, add some cardio and whatever. So in that first on bringing of clients, it's really just getting them to adhere to something.
Yeah, yeah, literally.
You know, like one of my newer clients was she had some stuff going on, so she's like, well, I can't track. And I'm like, listen, we have a few weeks of that, then that's fine. Like, let's just start. Let's just make you accountable. Let's just do something. So I was like, protein and calories, just track that. I was like, here's some calories to start. Here's some protein that I want you to hit.
Right.
Go. And then in a few weeks, when everything calms down, you can adhere. We add the fats and the carbs in, because just with her starting the 2 days of weight training, eating the amount of protein I want her to eat and staying at least within a calorie budget, more or less,
Right.
we will absolutely see energy changes, changing her body composition over the next couple of weeks. So we should get some good results, right? Because doing nothing is better, or I'm sorry, doing something is better than nothing.
Right.
Even if you can't fully dive into things. And I notice, I don't know about you, but with a lot of my clients, the way that I approach things, and when we do our onboarding call and the forms, they're like, oh, wow, that's a lot. Like, I have X, Y, and Z going on. I want to commit to this 100%. So I'm not going to do any of it. If they have things going on, they're like, I'll revisit this. And it's like, well, no, like you're still going to get something out of it. You're still getting accountable. Like you're still building consistency and developing better habits, even if we only have you focus on just protein. Or it's like, tell me your lifestyle. Maybe we make a couple just changes there, like starting to build things. And then when the time is, right, we can do some of the more in-depth things that usually gets people, but they have this all or nothing approach, type A personality, where it's like, oh, I understand everything you're saying. That sounds great. So I'm not going to do any of it because I can't commit to that.
Right.
During this time frame, it's like, well, there's other ways to tackle this. Like
100%.
start small. I don't know if that's how I'm assuming that's how you approach it as well.
Yeah, I'm always like bite-sized pieces. I usually, like, as much as I can in that onboarding, I try to find where people are and then like what they've done in the past, just to kind of build off that. I guess it all kind of depends. I'm a big it depends girl. There's like some clients I've had that like have never tracked, so it's like you can't just like expect them to go and track all 2,000 calories they're eating throughout the day, right? So I do things like protein, and it's like you don't even need to like just write down the foods that you're eating. Go take, and this might take a little time for them, but go Google, see how much protein's like, in a cup of broccoli, because you might be surprised.
Yep.
Right? Like, so just doing those like basic education things, and like teaching them the benefits of tracking, because I think those people are also just so far away from tracking because they've heard these horror stories and all of that. So yeah, that's kind of where I start. It's just those bite-sized pieces. Where is someone, and like where do they want to go, and what's the next viable step for them, right?
Yeah. Well, it's also getting people to understand that you're looking for progress, not perfection.
Right.
Okay, so when it comes to numbers, it's like, listen, these are guidelines.
Yeah.
Stay within like a 10-gram budget, whether it's over or under, but like you are never going to hit those numbers perfectly. We don't expect you to hit those numbers perfectly. It's like, this is just something so that we build consistency, versus you eating like 1,400 one day and 3,000 another day and whatever. It's like, no. If you're within like, let's whatever, 1,500, like you're at 1,450 or you're at 1,550. Like it's okay to be like 100 calories over or under, like long as we're within this throughout the week, like that adds up, but if you're here and you're here and you're here, like
you're just all over the place.
You're never going to have that consistency.
So. One cup, or like one cup of broccoli is never going to have the same caloric value every time you measure it, right? Because every piece of broccoli is different. which is why, I mean, and I have a post about this, why I prefer to weigh things out, but
So do I.
I know some people don't. So
Yeah, I said the same thing. Actually, someone just asked me about peanut butter and like, oh, do you allow peanut butter on your diet? I was like, yes, yes, of course. But
yeah,
I was like, when you measure it, I was like, measure it on a scale and not the actual, tablespoon or teaspoon, whatever. Just because that's probably not going to be accurate. Like zero out the peanut butter and then take it out of the jar and like you can get it. And
right.
even then, like it's okay if it's like a gram or two over or under. Like if you're
Yeah,
looking for 15 on the dot, and this goes for all weighing stuff. Like
all
again,
things.
if you're within a short window here, like that's fine. Like
Right.
nothing, people make it way too complicated.
Yeah.
Like I had like 5 grams over, like that's fine. It's
No
not gonna
one's
be that.
no
Relax.
one's tracking every drop of water they drink either. Like, come on, guys.
No, no, it's wild though to think and how complex people make every little nuance of the food,
Yeah.
right? It's the same thing with like, and I know you do it. It's like I'm not a huge fan of like the if it fits your macros, but like the concept of it, like
Right.
80-20 rule or 90-10, depending on who you are as an individual. Like, go have some stuff, like
Right.
for your mentality. Like, unless
Yeah.
you're super, strict and you're gonna compete, then the one thing. But all my gen pop, go out, go have fun. I'll teach you how to track. I'll teach you how to,
Right.
go out for food. Like, we'll make gains and results over time, but you can still live your life. And when people sign up, they always want like a meal plan. And I'm like, one, I'm not an RN, so I can't give you a meal plan. But two, you're not going to follow it.
No.
If I tell you to eat like me, you're not going to follow it. So I was like, well, what do you do? So it doesn't matter what I do. I'm a psycho. I eat
Yeah.
the same thing every day. Like, I don't care.
I'm a robot. It's like, yeah.
Kinda. And I'm like, listen, like, let's find some food groups and options that you like, stick with them because that makes things easier to track.
Exactly.
And if you want a little bit of something, cool. And if you're doing a little bit too much and we take a look at your food log throughout the week and this is why we're not, well, it's like, okay, well, if you're doing it a little too much, like let's taper it back. But the college girl, for instance,
Yeah.
she said, listen, realistically, I can cut back and I want to, but I still want to be able to go out with my friends on the weekend or something and have some drinks and this and that. I'm like, great, send me the places you want to go. She sent me the 4 restaurants that she always goes to with her friends. And she's like, well, what can I eat? I took a look through and I made options for her. I was like, these are going to be your best options. I don't know what portion sizes look like, but be your own judge. When that day comes, we can figure out how to tackle out macros for the whole day. And even if you do end up eating a lot that day, like so be it. It's one day, go back on track the next day. That's always the rule.
Yep.
And if you have alcohol, same deal. Rather than getting like a margarita, try to just have, tequila and soda water or some simple drink. And then
whatever it is. Yeah.
same deal, rather than having like 10 drinks and getting shit faced, have like 1 to 3.
Yeah.
And we can track for it. And I have, same deal. I have articles and posts about how to go about that. And that's what I'll send over to my people. I'm like, none of this has to be so nuts,
Cut and dry.
Yeah. And one of my other ladies came from doing Weight Watchers as well. And like, granted, they half teach you how to eat and the tracking and the calories, but like what I try to explain to her,
Are they a point system? Isn't Weight Watchers like the point system? Yeah. So it's like sort of, but yeah,
kind of is. But like, I think a lot of it is you have to buy their food. And certain things they have points if you don't. She was trying to explain it to me. I briefly knew about it because my mom did that back in the day. It's successful. People have success on it, which is great. But I told her right from the get-go, I was like, listen, my approach is sustainability to keep the weight loss off. It's a little bit of a slower approach, but I'm going to teach you. I was like, even if you don't want to track after this next month, fine, but at least now you know what 4 ounces of chicken looks like, and what food portions look like, what agrees with you. That's actually the other thing is I'm trying to get people, one, to eat like 4 to 6 times throughout the day, spread it out over the course of like 2 to 4 hours, but paying attention to how that food makes them feel, right? Because so many times, and I'm sure maybe you do it in your forms, I ask about bloating and gas and digestion, and it's like they're like, oh yeah, I was bloated today. It's like, well, okay, let's figure out why. Like, is it something you drank? Is it something, you ate? Is it something you had maybe that you had a little bit too much of a portion and then that makes you bloated? Like maybe, can you tolerate broccoli? Which obviously that's something that typically doesn't digest well. Maybe if you had like 50 grams, but you had 100 grams, 100 gram bloats you, but the 50 doesn't. right? So I'm getting people to try to not only track, but at least pay attention to how their body responds to everything,
Yeah,
right?
it's dose response. Yeah, that's all it is. It's a dose response.
It's wild.
Yeah. I mean the same thing with like protein too. You hear people like I mean, I've heard some crazy things in powerlifting. In the gen pop side, you definitely more or less hear people not getting enough protein.
Yes.
But then you go into the powerlifting world and you hear these people who are eating like insane amounts of protein, and you're like, well, that's not good either.
No,
You
no,
just
you
your
can't.
body doesn't process it that well.
No, you can for a short stint.
Yeah, yeah,
I've definitely
absolutely.
done it because you can only
Absolutely.
increase fats and carbs so much before you have to increase protein a little bit more towards that like
Exactly.
1.5 to almost even 2, which don't get me wrong, I can't handle eating that much. I had 300 grams at one point and that's just uncomfortable.
Well, if you look, it's to be honest, if you look at your like decent carb sources and your decent protein sources or your decent fat sources, they're adding protein themselves
There's
anyway.
always traces.
Yeah.
People don't get that because one
No.
of my clients asked me the other day, he's like, how do I get 100? It wasn't even a lot. He was like, how do I get 160 grams of protein in without eating just straight up meats? I was like, that's not hard. I was like, we can go egg whites, we can go yogurt, we can go protein powder and cottage cheese. And I was like, some of the carb choices you have are going to have those traces. I was like, if you really just want to limit it to like one meal of chicken or meat or lean turkey, whatever, I was like, 5, 6, 7, 8 ounces, like that's gonna give you a 30 to 50 grams of protein right there. I was like,
Yeah.
spread out whatever you want throughout the rest of the day. And then I'm sure, you might get this question a lot too. Is like, well, how much protein?
Mm,
Well, that's going to depend on goals. How much can your stomach tolerate? Because I have a client where her digestion's really messed up.
yeah.
She can't tolerate more than about 120 grams of protein, which, like, granted, she only weighs about, I think, somewhere around 125, 130.
Oh,
So
yeah.
she's eating almost a gram per body weight
Yeah.
anyways. But like, for muscle building purposes, it's like, oh, well, we wanted her to eat like maybe 140, 150
But if
even.
she's not digesting it, why are you can't force it? You know what I mean? It's not going to go to the right place anyway. So like she's
So
just going to be eating and
there's
feeling
no
like
reason to
shit.
cause distress,
Yeah.
right? It just didn't agree with her stomach. She just
Yeah.
couldn't handle it because she has some sort of GI issue. It's like, all right, well, anywhere between 100 and 120 is great then.
Perfect. Yeah.
Same thing with vegans and vegetarians with women. It's like 150. That's a lot of protein for them to just try to get straight up lean protein when they're not eating meats, right? So, and some of them don't eat like egg whites either. So, for them, I learned to drop it down after having a conversation with my coach. And
Mhm.
he's like, no, he's like, you'll be lucky if you can even get like 100. He's like, keep it 100 to like 120, maybe even 30, depending on the individual. But yeah, it's interesting to try to find who can tolerate what protein and what protein sources.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the other thing too is because you always read, it's like, well, I read that I'm supposed to have one gram per body weight or
Yeah.
per lean body weight.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yes and no. Because what if you're like a 200-pound person that needs to get down to like 150? I'm not going to just put you at 200 grams. We're going to aim more towards that body weight goal and
Right.
put your protein there, right? Like
And
this
probably
is
not even right away. We're probably going to do it in a very step-by-step process because then you're
depending where they're at. Yeah.
cutting that much protein might cause a bit of atrophy that you don't want. I mean, I guess it depends on what that person's goals are to lose 50 pounds, but
Right. A lot of carbs.
a lot of carbs.
A lot of carbs. No protein.
No protein. None.
Yeah, but it's wild, right? It's even
Yeah.
like doing calculations for someone who's significantly overweight because it's like, well, these are calories to support this weight, but this weight's also not healthy. And we want to go towards our goal weight. So it's like you almost
Right.
have to use that goal weight, or depending where the goal weight is, maybe even a couple notches above it.
Right. Because you still want to promote protein synthesis, right? You still want to be able to muscle because that muscle is ultimately what's going to create the energy burn to burn the fat, right?
Absolutely.
So we don't want that muscle atrophy. And I think that's what people have a hard time understanding, especially with weight loss, is like you don't want to just lose weight too fast because that's when you gain it all back. And the reason is like you're underfeeding your muscles, you're losing muscle mass, you're actually decreasing your total energy expenditure.
Well, they're doing
Now what?
the cheap fix.
Yeah, exactly.
All these, well, I can lose it in 30 days. So they follow whatever. But the thing is, and this goes back to what I was saying earlier, is that they're not learning.
No,
They
yeah,
don't learn anything. They just follow whatever's in the magazine or the latest fad or this or that or keto. And it's like, well, okay, what happens if you do keto and you go into ketosis and you're not eating carbs during this diet and then you lost all that weight and suddenly you just start eating normal again and you're eating carbs? Like your body's gonna freak the fuck out.
doesn't know what to do with it. That hasn't used that strategy in however long. Yeah.
Right, and that's why I'm a huge advocate for tracking food. And obviously I get it, some people don't want to do that at all. um Either taper off of, like, do it for a while.
Yeah. No, I'm 100.
Learn.
That's my take. 100% is like, you don't need to track forever. You don't need to track for the rest of your life. It's basically, it's a learning curve. You learn what 4 ounces of chicken looks like. You learn what, 100 grams of mashed potatoes next to 4 ounces of chicken looks like.
Yep.
You learn what 2 cups of spinach looks like, and you're like, all of a sudden that's the base of your salad, and like, look at you go.
Well, it's what's going to keep your weight up or down or at maintenance, right? Your energy
Exactly.
levels, performance, and recovering. It's like it's learning that process and being able to
Yep.
go back. And if you fall off the wagon, then you have the tools.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
go back and start tracking and get to a good place. Or, I still recommend people, if they completely come off, to at least once, like maybe once a week, just to check in where their calories are at,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
to make sure that they're eating enough,
Yep.
not under eating. Or even, I love Jordan's approach, which is always like 3 meals and 2 snacks. The 2 snacks is either a protein base or something that has
Yep.
to be able to fit in your hand, like a piece of fruit. It's
Yep.
like, just go about it that day. And then same deal, if you're trying to increase or decrease, then, add another snack or add a little bit more portion to your plate.
Right.
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 Like, again,
Yeah.
nothing has to be super complex, but when people look at it and push comes to shove, it's like, oh, I ate once today. It's like, what the fuck?
No, that's the worst. Absolutely the worst. I hate the 1 mealers. I know it works for some people, but
No, it's bad. It's
doesn't.
bad. I even had someone, she was actually doing 4 meals and then she bumped it to 5 and then she lost some more weight. And we
That's.
didn't change
I
anything.
mean,
We didn't change anything. All she did was increase one more meal,
right.
divided everything up, and ate just a little bit more frequently. For whatever reason,
It just helped.
she lost a couple pounds doing that. I didn't change her macros. We didn't change anything about the weight training or the cardio, and just the extra frequency.
Do you think? Yeah. Do you think that was a? Do you think that's like a factor of her, like, the food breakdown, the energy burn from the food breakdown just being greater because it's happening for 2 hours more a day?
I think she started eating a little earlier.
So so the time of her body
I mean,
working through
we
that
both know
is
food timing matters. So
yeah, for sure. Oh,
splitting,
100%.
splitting, I believe she was doing 3 hours in between each meal.
Okay.
Right? So you gotta think, if you're eating, I do like 6 or 7 meals, and I spread it out between 2 and 4 hours myself because I'm
Yeah.
starting to eat at like 6:30 a.m. till maybe 8:30 p.m. Right, it's a long time. So you're never full. Oh, I'm sorry, you are full.
You're never hungry.
You're never hungry.
Right.
Being in such a, I don't know, sometimes if you are, because she's definitely in a deficit, having that food spread out throughout the course of the day and relatively equal
Yep.
amongst the meals, that just helps, right? It helps with energy. It's going to help you not be as hungry throughout the day. That's a very easy way to kind of go around being in a deficit, because you are hungry if you're in a
Oh, yeah.
deficit. You're doing
Well,
what
I mean, just the thought of being in a deficit makes you hungry alone. It's a complete psychological factor of it for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the meal timing is huge,
Yeah.
especially depending on what your macros look like. And people are like, well, that's a lot. Say you put someone at maintenance, right? I have a girl, so say you put her at, I think her maintenance was right around like 1,700 because she's on the shorter side. Which still obviously doesn't seem like a lot, but to her, she's like, that's a lot of food. And it's like, okay, would you rather split that food amongst 3 meals? Or would you rather do like 5 or 6? And it could be shakes and snacks, whatever.
Yeah.
But spread that all throughout the day doesn't seem like as much. Becomes a job where you're trying to time it out and eat, every couple hours. But
It doesn't take you an hour to sit
better
down and eat.
results. You're not going to be, so full that you don't want to finish the meal on the plate. If you're splitting that up and you're eating like 40 grams per meal rather than like 20 per meal of protein, that makes a huge difference, because then you got to factor in veggies and then whatever your starch for the carb is, however you're getting the fat, like that's a lot to put down as a small woman, you know. If you're eating 1,800 calories, you're not even used to that. It's like, well, let's divvy it up throughout the whole day. It doesn't seem as bad. There's little tricks on
Yeah.
what types of food you're eating. So, you know, like eating fruit doesn't fill you up.
Yeah.
You know, you can eat plenty and that slams down, you know, maybe 15, 20, 30 grams of carbs right there. If your
Pretty
carbs,
easily,
let's
yeah.
say 200 grams of carbs, you're like, oh, damn, that's a lot. Have fruit.
Yeah.
It's so easy. Have some cereal. Like it's simple things that will throw it down, right? Like that
Yep.
stuff's not going to make you fat.
Nope.
That's the biggest thing, right? And you know that too. And we
Oh,
were going
I
to
hate
talk
that.
about a
Shit.
lot of misconceptions, right? That was going to be kind of the theme of today was misconceptions on the general pop when it comes to nutrition.
Right.
It's like, oh, zero fat, zero carb.
Yeah, no.
No. Healthy balance of all of them.
Yeah, we want it all.
Nothing.
We want it all.
My favorite thing that Jordan says is like, protein's not going to make you fat. Carbs aren't going to make you fat. Fat's not going to make you fat. Overeating will make you fat.
Yeah.
And that's just as simple as it is. Or not moving as much will make you fat. Right. So it's the whole calorie in, calorie out. Obviously, to some extent, it is going to matter what you're eating, right? We still want high quality food, nutritious food. You can't just sit down and eat bags of McDonald's, you know.
Yeah, you can't just eat all your carbs in one meal and all your protein in another either. That's not going to get you very far, especially like with satiation. There's several factors in that one, right? You don't want the insulin dump of 200 grams of carbs.
No, it's terrible. I don't think anyone can.
I just think about that. I'm like, oh, how much? Like, I don't know if I've ever eaten 200 grams of carbs at a time, but
I bet you have.
Probably
like 3 slices of pizza. That's probably put you right there.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever downed 2 slices of pizza though. I'm not a big pizza guy.
What? Who hasn't sat down and just ate like a whole?
I'm like a 2-slicer. I don't know.
You got to think about it. A real pizza from some
like,
fast food chain. That's got to be at minimum 40 to 50 grams of carbs minimum for one slice.
For one slice, yeah.
Minimum. So that's what I'm saying. You eat like three slices. That probably puts you right around like
250. Yeah.
Think about it. You eat a whole thing of pizza, and we're talking about just like a plain one. That's got to be 1,500 to 2,000 calories easy for the whole thing.
Yeah, like a cheese pizza.
Yeah, simple.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
like a regular sized. Yeah, that's got to be by itself like 2,000 calories.
Yeah, you get in
like so funny because you get people and you're like, hey, I want you to eat 2,000 calories today. They're like, holy shit, that's a lot of food. You get someone to eat like something like that, some fast food or whatever, and they down 1,500 or more calories in one sitting. Doesn't even ring a bell, right? They're like, no way. Like, it's just this little meal. It's like, yeah, but you know how they cook it? You know what's in it?
All the oil, all the butter.
That macros are fucking sky high, and then you eat a bunch of it because you were drunk
and then there's no protein on it, so you get the classic,
It's super funny, especially liquid calories when it comes to that for Gen Pop. That's a big thing that I talk with people. It's, hey, let's focus on water. Have a little something here and there, like,
yep,
have it. But if you're looking to even just get into a deficit or lose some weight, eliminate all liquid calories.
Yeah, all liquid calories.
Because I don't know about you, and I don't understand it, but water is boring. I don't like drinking water. It's like, well, what do you drink? I drink coffees and iced coffees and teas and these, fruity drinks and this and that. It's like, okay, well, like, are you looking? Yeah. Exactly. So you don't even think about it because you're just thinking it as a liquid.
Right.
But it's like, well, turn the can around and like, let's see what you're having.
Right.
It's the same thing with alcohol. You could easily put down 300, a lot of people like to drink those seltzers.
Yeah.
Granted, that's a fantastic option instead of some of the other things.
I mean,
let's call it 100 calories. You slam 5 of them because, they're not.
That's still a whole fucking meal.
They're not strong, but 500 calories. I don't know what the carb content would be on that for each of them. Probably like 10, 20 grams of carbs or something per 25 even. I don't know.
Yeah, probably something like that.
But but people don't realize that, right? So when it comes to that, like, these are very key things I'll start to tell my people. It's like, all right, well, let me hear what you're doing. Okay, well, let's start to chop that down and focus a little bit more on water. And if you don't like water, there's plenty of little packets that don't cost
we use stir
calories Yeah, or like put fruit in it. Like, I don't care.
Yeah,
Like,
whatever you want, whatever you got to do.
yeah, if you can't drink normal water for whatever reason, then like here's some options, right? I'd rather you eat your food than drink your food. And I'm not talking about like, you know, shakes or something. Like your average sodas and you know, some of these other things. But
Yeah,
very easy that people are like, oh shit, I drink like 6 Cokes a day. It's like,
that's a lot of fun. That's a lot
let's
of
take that
calories.
out by itself. And there you
You're,
go.
you're probably fine. Yeah, you actually don't even need to touch your food for the next 3 months. You'll see some
Yeah,
growth.
it's just simple things, right? Or
Yeah.
even you get some of the other people, and it all honestly depends on how accurate they are with their tracking, because we know people will just nibble on things throughout the day, and that adds up.
Hmm.
But every now and again, because you definitely get this happening where people overtrain and
Hmm.
they undereat, and in a realistic situation, that's pretty much what you and I put people in, right? It's, hey, be in a deficit and overtrain to an extent, and obviously
Right. Yeah. Not to the definition of overtraining, but yes.
yes,
Yeah.
you're gonna out train, I should say,
Yeah.
whatever calories you're at, right? So if they're already doing that, you're like, well, how do you have so much body fat? Why are you not losing weight? And then it goes into the whole, okay, well, how slow is your metabolism right now? Like, do we actually have to do a recomp to get balances back up and into that slate, right? Because that's the other thing with Gen Pop. It's like cardio classes, lift 7 days a week. You know, I'm gonna eat like 100 calories. I'll lose weight. It's like, no, no.
That's not sustainable.
Less is more. Let's
Mhm.
take it back. Let's not do cardio right now, or maybe it's very minimum. You know, let's
Right.
focus more on the weight training. You know, let's kind of tweak some things and then start to feed you, right? So it's getting people again to understand where they are currently,
Hmm.
and it's like, do we feed you up towards maintenance, or do we actually start to bring you under maintenance, and then we play around with, you know, steps and sleep and stress? And it's like, I don't know about you, but a lot of the people I talk to, it's like they're so blind to the other nuances that it goes into to lose weight or performance or strength training. It's like, well, how's your sleep? Well, I get 4 hours of sleep at night. Well, how's your water? I drink a cup a day. Like, how's your stress? Through the roof. But I don't know why
Yeah.
I'm not losing weight, because I'm in a deficit. It's like, oh, okay, well,
Well,
we're
because of
gonna
all the
change
stress, yo.
X, Y, and Z. But you know, again, depending on the client, we can't change all these things at once. So little goals throughout, and getting them to understand like, hey, this is a process. We're building healthy habits. Like, let's focus on one thing at a time. It's going to go a little slower than you would like. We're not going to drop 50 pounds in, you know, a month. Like,
Hmm.
realistically, like, hey, we might be able to drop like 10 or 20 in the next like 6 months. It's like, well, what the hell? I see people lose like 30 pounds in 30 days. It's like, well, okay, you don't know what they're taking, you don't know what they're doing, you don't know their background. Like,
Yeah, you
don't
haven't
care
done
what
it.
you're reading about it. It doesn't make it true.
It
It's
also
just,
depends on what they were doing before too. So like,
yeah, exactly. So you get your average person who maybe hasn't worked out in years. They have kids. They're stressed out. They don't have a ton of time to do stuff. They go out multiple times a week, or they have clients that they have to go eat out, and they travel a lot. There's so many factors, and people
hmm.
just don't account for. And it's like, that's where I step in to get people to not have to think and develop a game plan, and get them to understand, like, yes, you went on vacation, so it's okay that your weight's up. Like, it's going to be up for the week. Get back on point. That weight will eventually come back down, and maybe even lower than it was, because you were probably eating in the maintenance or above, being on vacation, eating out all the time and having drinks, and you know, whatever, maybe not even working out, you know, less steps. It's like, there's so many things, in getting people to realize and educate them. And that's, you know, that's what you and I do during our coaching process, which it takes
Yep.
it to that next level, right? Versus just like,
Yeah.
here's a plan, go. It's like, you
Right.
don't want that. You have to hold their hand essentially, and get them to realize certain things, so that when they do see the scale spike after a night of drinking, or maybe it's even down actually after a night of drinking, if they're super dehydrated, and then a day or two it spikes up like 3 or 4 pounds. It's like, no, relax. That's okay. You didn't do anything wrong. Now your body's just holding on to a ton of water. Give it a couple more days. It'll go
It'll
back to
shell it
what it
out.
was,
Yeah.
or maybe lower, right? So you often will see that. And that's where the Gen Pop mindset goes. And it's like, sometimes it's an all or nothing approach too, right? And these are common things that you see with regular people. It's the fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yep.
already up, or I already blew it, or
Yeah.
I did terrible today, so fuck it.
Just gonna
It's
keep
like, no,
going.
no, no. What's terrible in your mind? Like, you ate a candy bar, you went over by 100. Fuck it, the day is ruined, and then you end up being over by like another 1,000,
When you could have just been
500.
over by 100, which is acceptable anyway.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
the biggest thing for me is even in the onboarding process and throughout the whole process is getting people to really understand their bodies, to realize what needs to happen in order to achieve whatever goal, and that little waves of things, excuse me, will happen over
Mhm.
time, right? And again, these are all people who don't compete. They don't
Yeah.
care. They're just striving
No,
to
they're
have
just
a better quality of life, feel better, look better, and just be better. And it's like, okay, understand and give yourself a break.
right.
As long as
Yeah.
you don't stop, you haven't failed. So like, fuck it. Who the hell cares? Do whatever needs to happen that day and then go back on track. Like,
Yeah.
long as we're not stalling for like 5 or 6 weeks, it's okay. Progress takes time. You might not see progress in a week or two. Like, the body's weird. It has to adapt. And then it all comes down to actually how consistent have you been?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's true. I always like to talk to like my clients when they have like these failing moments, right? To talk them through it. And it's more of a learning moment, right? You're just learning in that moment, like in your environment. And much like you, I do. I'm like, okay, well, what triggered that? Do you remember anything that triggered that feeling? Like, or what triggered you to eat that chocolate bar, or drink that drink? Because the second you bring awareness to it, and I think this is why you and I like to get people to track, is the second you bring awareness to it is when that like switch clicks in their mind and they're like, oh, okay, now I understand what I got to do to
Yeah.
make this change. And they might fuck up like 4 or 5 more times, but that's again why we're here. We're here to just be like, hey, listen, we've done this too. We've fucked up 10, 12, 14 times, and this is why we can explain to you the process in which this happened. You went out to dinner last night, you went and you got Mexican, your sodium intake's not usually that high. You stepped on the scale this morning and your weight was up like 6 pounds because you took on water and sodium. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It takes going through those things to truly learn them, and I think be aware of the next time that they're happening.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Maybe you ate a little later than you normally do. You ate a little bit more. You went out. You had more sodium, or whatever.
There's
And,
like 1,000 different things that could have happened, right? You know what? And like these
yeah,
people
and if
have no idea, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, and if the scale's up 5 pounds after one day, you didn't gain 5 pounds of fat. Like, relax.
It doesn't
What
work
the
like
fuck?
that.
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't have to be like that, and people don't get it, right? And then they think, oh, I ate bad the day before, so I just won't eat it all today, or like I'm gonna go train for 10 hours. It's like,
And that's where that yo-yo comes in, and that's not good either. I preach it all the time, consistency. And I think like you and I can also attach it to our businesses and posting on Instagram. Like, it may not feel like a big step, but those small steps repeatedly, no matter whether they're a full stride or a half stride, you're still moving forward, and eventually you're going to be 100 yards ahead of where you were.
yeah, it's the old 2 steps back,
Yep.
or 1 step
Step
back,
back, 2 steps forward. Yeah.
2 steps back, you might be fucked.
Yeah.
But
Two steps back. You just got to take 5 forward,
yeah,
It happens. Shit
exactly.
happens, man. Shit
However many
happens.
steps you want to take.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that absolutely happens. There's always setbacks. There's always
Yeah.
downfalls.
There's a bunch of people who go back and they start right where they started, or even farther back than they started. You know what I mean? So like,
Yeah,
you just got to keep going, keep moving forward.
yeah. No, there's a lot of common things that I notice with Gem Pop, or the way that the average person thinks because of the stuff that's out there, or just negligence to what's happening, right?
Yeah.
With their bodies, or how things work. And maybe it was out of their their real house, where they had to go away for, like, I don't know, a birthday or a wedding, and they were just away and they wanted to enjoy themselves, but then they feel guilty. And like I said, they come back, and rather than being on track and be like, okay, today's, if we do like a calorie split, a high day versus low day, they're like, all right, so I'll just do low the whole week. Like, no, just whatever we set out, do it. Your body will eventually respond. You just patience, right? So
Right.
I find that the average person is not patient. They freak out. And again, that goes into understanding things and trust in your coach in the process.
Right.
It's very scary for someone to hear that, hey, like eat more. It's like,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Especially if you want to lose weight. That's a scary thing to hear for sure.
Yeah, or like stop doing so much cardio, or stop doing this, or stop doing that, and stop eating this or that, or I want you to add this, this, and this. I try to do more adds than takeaways, but
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
again, it has to go into the person trusting you, understanding things. Things
100%.
take time. As a coach, we can only do so much to what you're telling us, assuming that's all true, whether that's conscious or not, because sometimes people will do things that are unconscious. And realistically, it's like consistency. And at the end of the day, I like to try to have people somehow um, either keep a list or a calendar and see how consistent they are. Because too many people look at the day to day and the week by week comparisons versus like, all right, well, day 1 versus day 30, or day 1 versus day 60. Like, how many X's and O's do we have that you actually were consistent? Because if we're looking at, maybe 8 days out of 30, well, that's your answer.
Right.
There's a reason it's not working, even if you think you are being consistent. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things to check off, but how consistent actually are you with everything? Like, it's like, hey, let's track your sleep. How many days did you actually get, 7 to 9 hours of sleep in a 30-day period? And it's like 5. It's like, well, what the fuck? We got some things to fix here. Like that's going to slow us down in so many ways.
Yep.
So it's really getting people to adhere to the plan, but it's also being super patient and consistent. And the people that I find who are 90% on point in their week to week, month to month, they're the ones seeing results. The ones who are essentially less than 90 or 80% even, we're getting some results. It all depends on how close they are to that line.
Yeah.
But they're not seeing it, right? Maybe they're thinking they're close to their macros, and then I have them track for the whole week and send it to me. It's like, you're really off. Like, you're either really off under or over, and because of this, like, your weight's stagnant, or you've gained weight, right? Or you're gaining fat. And it's like, well, I don't know why. It's right here.
Yeah.
You're not paying attention to your set numbers.
Right.
Again, whether you're cognizant of it or not. So sometimes it's getting people to really dial in and be like, no, 30 days, you were consistent for less than half.
Right. Let's aim for a higher number this next month.
Yeah, people are too quick to stay on course. People are too quick that they want to change. Right? Yeah. God forbid, like we just said, all the examples we just gave. I gained a couple pounds because of whatever. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm gaining weight. Like, we got to go into a deeper cut, or we got to add more cardio. I was like, no, just chill out. Follow plan. Yep. Do all the things. Don't change anything. Your body will acclimate. Give it 2 weeks. We'll figure it out. If it doesn't change after 2 weeks, then like maybe we can change. But yeah, whether it's programming or the food or cardio,
same thing. Yeah, whatever. Same with strength, right? Just because you get weaker 1 week doesn't mean you've lost all your strength. It's an expression of strength, right? There's plenty of things that affect that. Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it, but I had recently 2 different scenarios here. So people who either were sick for the week and haven't gotten in, or they were on vacation where they just decided not to work out and they were gone for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. And they come back and we start lifting again. They're like, holy crap, my conditioning is terrible, or my strength has gone down. It's like, yes, that happens. That is your body. It adapted to not doing stuff, right. But like, you already have a base. It takes time. So come back into the gym, do all the things, be consistent, be smart with picking your weights, right? Like, understand you are not in the same place that you were last week or 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever.
Right.
Go slightly lighter, focus on form and precision. The weight comes back. You're not magically just, going to be weak.
Like way back to where you started,
Yeah, I try to explain this to them. It's like, listen, when you're sick, your body's fighting stuff, your cardio is not going to be there. You were away for a couple of weeks, your conditioning is not going to be there. But the nice thing is, as fast as the conditioning aspect goes away, the cardio aspect, it comes back just as fast. And
especially the cardio aspect.
yeah, and with strength, depending on how long you've taken an absent, you know, that's going to be one of two things. It's either going to take a long time, depending on what we're looking at, or it's going to take a few weeks for you to build it back up, and that's fine.
Right.
Like your body recovers, you'll be strong again. Like people freak out too much. It's like, oh, now I gotta come like 6 days a week. It's like, no, no, no. I wrote you 4 days. Come in 4 days.
Yeah, just
And
come
just
4 days.
back off your ego and focus on where we're at. Like you're gonna be sore again because it's new. Like it's gonna suck. You're
Yep.
not gonna have the endurance to do it. Just take the hit, go in and do what you can for the day, even if you are on point. Right?
Yeah.
You're gonna have days where you don't want to go to the gym.
Or it doesn't feel good, or you're not
Just
gonna
go.
yeah.
That's it. There's plenty of days as you and I don't want to go. I just think I talked to you not too long ago, and you're like, I don't fucking want to be here, but I'm here.
Yep.
That's it. You and
That's
I are in the same way. We both love this more than anybody than our clients ever will.
Right.
And there's days where we don't want to go.
Don't want to be there.
There's plenty of days where I don't want to go. There's weeks where I don't want to go.
Oh, absolutely.
Or lifts feel super shitty. It's you deal with it. You go in, you do what you can, you get a win for the day and whatever that, capacity means to you. And that's it. You move on, right? We have, and that's okay. So even if we go a little off topic of just nutrition with general pop with working out, it's the same thing. I don't feel like taking my steps today. I don't feel like working out because of X, Y, and Z. I'm not motivated, blah, 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 blah. It's like, go, just go.
Oh.
You don't need to be motivated.
Oh.
I just did a post about this not too long ago. Actions give you results. Results gets you motivated. Being motivated makes you take more actions. And that's where it has to start, right? It's, all these New Year resolution people. I want to lose weight. I want to do this. I want to do that. All right. Well, what are you doing to get to that goal? How do you start there? Well, I'm not motivated yet. You don't have to be. Like,
you just got to start doing
things.
something.
Yeah, write down a list of things that's going to get you closer to that goal.
Right.
Start doing those things. I don't care if you don't like it. I don't care if it's hard, whatever. Start doing those things because, like you said, little steps, little wins, little goals over a long period of time will eventually give you results. Then you'll be like, damn, I feel better. I'm looking a little bit better. That's motivating. Let's keep going. Like, then you start making bigger strides.
Yeah.
Those are the things that I try to express to clients that it's like, listen, takes time, find small wins, keep doing the thing. Let me worry about all the other issues and like just do what you can off the plan. Find small wins. And then over the course of however many months it takes, like we are both also figuring out our clients' bodies, right?
Oh, yeah.
We can't be with them 24/7. So we don't know what is 100% true or not. And the average person kind of tracks, not super perfect anyways, which is fine. But it's understanding all these things, understanding the psychology of the person. And just, again, it's patience, right? We all would love to have results tomorrow.
Oh, all of us would, right? If we could,
Something super simple might take 6 months. Again, that could just be based off adherence. That could be how damaged the person's hormones are or where we're trying to just get them to. It takes time, right? And they're like, well, I haven't lost any weight yet. Or I haven't changed. It's like, no. The weight may not have moved. You've gotten stronger. You feel better. You're not having any more issues with X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Your body measurements are down. Your pictures look vastly different. I don't care that your weight didn't move. Like I try to get people to realize this sometimes where the average person is so focused on the scale. You got to look at your clothes. You got to look at performance. Like there's so many other ways to judge progress. And at the end of the day, everyone's like, well, I want to lose like 10 pounds. I want to lose 20 pounds. Okay. Well, is that actually going to make you happier? Because if you're not happy now, you're not going to be happy if you lost 20 pounds. Not necessarily. And I also, people are like, oh, I want to weigh what I weighed in high school. It's like, why? What if I told you those scale, like what if we never weighed you? What if scales didn't exist? You're solely judging it off how you feel.
Right.
And what you look like in clothes or in the mirror.
Right.
And I try to get people to realize that. It's like, if you weigh 135 pounds, you're like, I want to weigh 120. It's like, but do you need to? Like, what if how you're envisioning yourself, you looked maybe at like 5 pounds less? Well, yeah, that'd be fine. Well, then who cares about the scale? Like,
yeah, well then just go for that look, right? Yeah, exactly. If that's the goal. Yeah, that's definitely a good point. That just kind of like goes back to like, I feel like also attaching some of this scientific stuff we do back to their goal, because a lot of these goals that people give us, they're not necessarily specific, and they're like fairly hypothetical, right? There's like 1,000 different ways you could measure the progress. So
yeah.
I think,
the
yeah,
average is always, I want to be healthy, I
yeah,
want to be toned, I want to put on muscle, and I want to lose weight. It's
yeah,
really
like,
never more specific than that. And so it's like, well, what does that mean to you? What do you
right, right,
expect?
right, right, right.
What do you think healthy is? So it
Yeah.
all comes down to perception of what that
Oh,
individual
100%.
actually wants, and that's why you reassess and you judge, right?
Yeah.
Going forward. And we all have slight body dysmorphia. You have the pictures where people don't see the little nuance changes that you and I would see from week to week. You're like, oh, great. X, Y, and Z change. And you're like, I don't see any difference. I
Yeah.
actually think I look worse. And so, no, but you don't. Do you see this, this, and this? It's like, no, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
It's something simple as that. It's going to always be harder to see on yourself. In terms of progress, the only thing you really will ever know is, again, the energy levels. If the scale moves, which is why it's everyone's favorite tool to use,
if your clothes fit better, that's another one that is quite
clothes,
often used.
that's the biggest thing I tell people. It's like, judge by clothes and judge by performance.
Yeah.
That are you still, crushing it in the gym? Are your weights going up, from week to week or month to month? And then clothes. Do you feel better in your clothes? Are certain clothes looser for you if you're trying to lose weight? It's like fantastic. That means we're making progress. Because even when you do measurements, like that's very on the individual. Right? Because you could easily measure wrong. If it's not in the exact spot, it could be wrong. Same with the scale, right? The scale could slightly be off if you literally just moved it like a couple inches on your floor, like the weight could completely change.
Yep.
You can step on the scale 3 times. You can say 3 different weights, right? Because I've done that.
Yep.
I'm like, well, this is stupid.
They're not
like, how am I up a pound in like a half a second? Like, it's not possible.
No precision whatsoever.
No.
No precision.
No. Trying to think. What's your take on giving cardio to the average fat loss person? Whether they're doing it already and they're doing a bunch of it, or they haven't been doing any. What's kind of your take for the Gen Pop?
So I'm trying to think of some Gen Pop that I work with, because I don't really work with a whole lot of Gen Pop anymore. I don't necessarily prescribe a lot of cardio. I'm a big fan of walking, and I would prefer that someone go out and get 10,000 steps, or do a 30-minute walk, or 3 10-minute walks, or break it up however they need to get those steps and across that time. But I don't necessarily prescribe a whole lot of cardio to anyone, and I do try to get people to kind of cut back a little bit. For like big runners and stuff, it's like you don't necessarily need to be running every day either. Like 2 days of strength training, 3 maybe 4 days of running. Like, we're just talking energy systems here now, right? It's just like, go on your long run, get your aerobic system working for a while. We also need to work your anaerobic system, so there's got to be somewhere for like sprints. So I'm a big fan of, like, a lot of people have rowers. I love a good like power 10, have them power out 10 reps, and then they go for like 40 seconds at some sort of a moderate pace. So just kind of adding little things in like that are cardio, but still getting to some of the underlying adaptations I want them to achieve,
Sure.
But I've always personally hated cardio, even though I was a soccer player. I was a goalie, didn't have to run.
Best position.
Screw that. But there's obviously a time and place for it.
Yeah.
And even me as a powerlifter, I'm started programming for myself. I've started putting like 10-minute stair climber at the end of my workouts, 10-minute sled drags. But I think that's important because I'm in my off season and it's something that's completely different, for very different reasons.
Yeah, no, totally agree. It definitely depends on where the person's coming to you, right? Whether you got to cut back, one of my clients I've been with her for about a year now. She lives out in New York. She came to me doing like tons of Peloton classes and this, intermittent fasting. So we switched all the food around. I got rid of all the cardio for like the first, I think 4 or 5 months.
Wow. Yeah.
All of it. All of it.
Was she annoyed about that? Because most
just,
of my people are like, no, I'm not giving it up.
Yeah, just shocked.
Okay.
I told her why. I gave her the reasons why. I said, listen, we're going to start off with 3 to 4 times weight training. I want no cardio. I need to give your body a break from this because when I want to add it back in, it's not going to do anything if you're already doing this much. So I was like, we're going to take all this time off. And when I add it back in, I was like, trust me, it's going to make a difference.
You'll actually have a response from it.
Exactly. I was like, at this point, you're not doing anything and I don't want to make you do more than you're doing. So got rid of it. Only strength train. We were trying to build muscle on her anyways. So got her up to maintenance. Couple times a week of lifting, started to bring her back into a deficit, started to add the cardio in. She's like, oh my God. She's like, wow. She's like, this is awesome. You know?
Yeah.
And that's what it is. So I'm very much of a advocate for the steps as well, depending on where someone's at. You start them off, weight training, increase the amount of steps that they're doing. I don't care if they hit 10,000. If you're only doing 3, hit 5.
Yeah. 5. Yeah. As long as it's some sort of growth from what you're doing now. Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't just like jump them, 3,000 steps. That's quite a bit. But yeah, just like more than what you're doing right now. And I'm going to look to continue to push that for sure.
Yeah. I just give a minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's all I do.
Cool. If you
7K a day. Boom.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. If they're doing 2 to 3, hit minimum of 5. You can do more than that. Go for it. And then over time, we start to increase it a little bit. But starting off with that, getting the weight training, getting the nutrition, getting the steps, and then when it makes sense, add in the cardio. 2 or 3 times is all someone the average person needs at that steady state pace just to have something, there for their heart.
Yep.
Not even necessarily for fat loss.
Yeah, it's literally all heart.
At that zone 2.
Yep.
That's it. And then there's definitely it again depends on the individual, but I'll throw in conditioning aspects every now and again where you are doing maybe something for 10 minutes where it is like medicine ball slam, sprints, whatever, and you're getting that different cardio effect.
Yeah.
But a lot of people only go to that too, where like they're doing too much hit. Right?
Yeah, so too much of the weighted. Yeah.
Yeah, whether they're just doing straight up hit classes or whatever, which like, let's be real, it's not actual hit because you can't do hit for 30 minutes like that. Too much cardio is still going to lead, you're not going to get fat from doing it, but that could inhibit recovery, could inhibit muscle gain, right? It's great for your heart, but you got to also think like whatever you're looking at on your watch or on the actual cardio machine, you're like, yeah, but I burned more than I was weight training. It's like, after you've been doing it for a while, despite how fast you're going and the resistance that you're using, like
your body becomes efficient, especially in those motions that we're using for cardio, right? Like when you're running, people don't understand that like you're using more elastic force, right? Your muscles aren't actually contracting as they would in like a strength movement. And that's therefore not using as much energy. We're using stored energy at this point. And I think that's a big key. I guess people probably aren't like educated enough on the human body to kind of understand that, right?
Well, they're not, and they're paying too much attention to calories burned.
Yeah, exactly. That's the number.
There is no actual way to know how many calories you burned doing whatever the hell you're doing. So
unless you have a VO2 mask on your face the entire time, in which you're going to be
nobody has
miserable.
Yeah, nobody has access to that. So that's a big thing that I watch people because you have your watches and your apps and the actual cardio machines tell you it's like, oh, you burned 500 calories in a half hour. It's like, no, you fucking didn't. Like those numbers are wrong by like a lot. And when you adapt to doing the exact same thing every time you're in there, you are no longer burning that same amount of calories, even though it tells you are. And it's like, again, besides just for endurance purposes in your heart, you're not gaining really anything from doing the cardio except just more movement, right? Which is why we always push for weight training, because the muscle damage and actually putting on muscle mass and strengthening your bones and all the literally millions of benefits that come from actual weight training, and then complement that with, again, maybe 2 or 3 bouts of cardio, maybe 1 or 2 bouts of the conditioning stuff where you're doing some sort of hit. And that's even far and few where you don't need to do that kind of stuff. Like we talked a while ago about the the weight loss pyramid that I made. And when you're looking at that, it's like the bottom base is nutrition. It always will be. What's the second after that? It's exercise. Or not just exercise, it's weightlifting, right? Those two things alone can change your life. And then it's like, what's above that? Well, it's going to be steady state cardio and steps, but mainly focused on that steps. And then on the tippity top, it's your classes, it's HIIT, it's these little nuances that don't actually matter. But like when you do get to a certain point, or if you're an athlete, you're training for something, then fine. Yeah, maybe you are doing finishers or sprints, or because you like that intenseness that comes.
Or you have a very specific quality you're looking to attack, and that's like very specific.
Yeah.
And I think that's also another thing that's mistaken in the fitness and maybe even nutrition industry, is like it needs to not be simple. It needs to be complicated, right? Yeah. And the truth is, it doesn't need to be complicated until you're in the weeds, and it takes years and years of strength training and years of eating right to know that you're in the weeds. Yeah, that you should be getting that specific.
Right.
I mean, like you and I are probably arguably just getting to that point, right? Like we've been training for almost a decade, but it's like we're barely even scratching the surface of having to get specific. Even you and I can make some pretty decent gains off some basics.
Yeah. Always. Every single person, basics, fundamentals. You don't need to do crazy convoluted exercises that you found on Instagram just to be different or whatever. It's like the average person could make so much strength gains from just regular old, bench press and, dumbbell rows and some basic shit. And it's like, you don't have to think outside the box to try to manipulate the muscles in such different ways. Just pick like 20 exercises, right? Like 5 for each muscle group, and just stick with them. And every now and again, you might change like the rest period or the rep scheme, or a handful of modalities are even just fine. You don't have to
right.
actual exercise, and you will always get stronger.
Right.
You will. Like you just will get always stronger. Like, and again, if you hit a wall where you literally can't do more reps or more weight, that's where slow it down, add drop sets,
right,
tempo, whatever. And it's like, then you'll break past the plateau and you'll get strong again, or you'll work the muscles in such different ways. But it's like, there's a billion exercises. You don't need to do every single one, every single program. Like find stuff that works, get really strong at that one thing. And when you adapt, change the exercise out, or just move laterally, right? If you're doing regular RDLs, go to like, kickstand RDLs or barbell RDL. Like there's so many variations of the one freaking movement that like, once you stop getting really strong at that motion, or you've done so many modalities at that motion, give it a break and just move laterally. It's still same motion, still hitting the same muscle group. You're just doing it slightly different to probably get yourself more excited to do the workout, right? Because you only do the same thing for so long before you're just like, ugh, this again.
You could also just like change the order too. Like if you're really good at RDLs, do a burner set of hamstring curls in the machine before, like pre-burn your hamstrings. You're gonna drop a lower weight on your RDLs and still get a greater stimulus. So
it's the same,
like all kinds of things you can do. That's where it's fun for us. That's where it's fun for us.
Right. I've done that with compounds too, where like you would always be going for straight up strength. Sure, you're probably going to have, your deadlifts on like number 1 or 2 on the list for today. But like you throw them at the end after doing like 6-7 exercises, and then you're doing deads at the end of the day, you're going to feel it in a whole different way. And you definitely aren't lifting heavy, and you will literally be on fire from them, where like maybe at the beginning of the day, you don't feel like that. You just feel really strong.
Right.
So order of selection is huge.
Huge, for sure. All right. If for the people who can't afford coaches out there, one piece of advice what is one piece of advice you would give them if they want to start turning around their nutrition? Like where would you guide them to go right now if they could take one action in their life?
Sure. It's a good question. So depending on, obviously this could be such a depends, right?
Absolutely.
Based off the individual, but we'll just say the average person who lives a fairly healthy, normal lifestyle. Let's say they go out a decent amount to eat and they drink alcohol a decent amount with their friends, and their nutrition isn't like inherently terrible. It would be just start with some basics. make sure you're getting enough protein in. And if you don't know what that looks like, just make sure protein's present at every meal. What we talked about before, try to eat between 4 and 6 meals a day with, moderate portion sizes. Making sure, fruits and veggies are within your diet, because I know so many people who don't eat fruits or vegetables whatsoever. And drinking enough water. Like, you don't have to overcomplicate it. Like we said, if you're eating enough protein, you're probably not going to have the sensation to eat crap, because you're going to be more full.
Yeah.
If you eat fruits and veggies, same deal. You're not going to probably have cravings. You're going to feel better because you're getting some of those micronutrients in. And same with drinking water. Most people are severely dehydrated, or again, we talked about drinking your calories. So start by just drinking more water, eating protein at every meal, adding fruits and veggies. Like, that's the best place you can feel, because you're probably not going to want to go out as much or drink alcohol as much. But like, secondary that is that exactly. If you do go out a lot to eat and you drink a lot, taper back. Right. I had a lady that I was just talking to who drinks, multiple times throughout the week, and you're looking at like maybe 15 to 20 drinks a week. That's a lot. Right. So it's like, I'm not going to tell you to cut it cold turkey unless you want to, but half of that to start.
Yeah, it's a great place to start. Yeah.
Or none during the week and some just on the weekend, but on the weekend don't have those same 15 to 20 drinks just in 2 nights, rather than the whole week. But like, little things like that. It's like, how often do you go out? Well, I go out, every day for lunch. Okay, let's try bringing lunch and going out maybe once or twice a week. Like, that would be the best thing I could tell anybody, which those are things I will tell people if they can't afford training, where they do. I get that, frequently asked questions. It's like, well, where do I start? Well, if you don't want to track, take a hard look at what your week actually looks like and how often you really are going out. Start prepping your own food. And then I'll get the same thing, because I've had this quite a bit. Well, I don't cook food. Like, I don't like to cook. It's like, listen, you don't have to be a chef. I'm not looking for you to make these like 5-star meals. Buy an air fryer, put the goddamn piece of chicken in the air fryer and turn it on. It's so easy. It's not that fucking hard. Add some seasonings or whatever you like to make it taste good. You don't have to eat it bland.
Yeah.
Pick a handful of things that you can cook in terms of protein, right? I'm not a 5-star chef. I grab my meats, I throw them in a skillet, I cook them. They're done. That's not a hard thing to do. Throwing things in the air fryer, chopping up some potatoes, some veggies, some chicken. I toss it in the air fryer and turn it on and go about my life, and it's done. And I have food for a couple days, right? So that'd probably be the third thing I'd tell somebody, is be prepared, right? Mm-hmm. That's probably the most common downfall I see with clients or average people is like, well, I get home from work and I have no food, so I order out, or I don't eat, or whatever. Be prepared. It's
fail to plan to fail.
Well, I don't have time to cook every day. You don't have to. Find one day. I do them on Saturdays or Sundays for like an hour, because it takes a minute to cook in an air fryer on the skillet, all the food that I cook, and I cook it in abundance, right? So I have like a big thing of chicken that lasts me for 5 days. I have my ground turkey and stuff that lasts. I have all these different options, and they're done. Right? You don't have to be the average person, like an actual bodybuilder who has like 30 pieces of Tupperware in their fridge that has every single meal calculated, unless you want to. Like, that works, cool. I have the time every single day to make each individual meal, right? Like, I go work a 8-hour shift over at the gym training clients all day. I have 10-15 minutes before. It doesn't take long. I get 3 different Tupperwares, put them on my scale. I already have all the food made. I just put them all in whatever Tupperware is weighed out. Boom, done. Mm-hmm. I have 3 meals to bring with me. I have zero excuse not to be on target for when I'm at work that day. Like, I bring 3 meals and a shake. I'm good for the whole day. I have all of my food with me in my bag, and I'm not at work. I'm like, oh damn, I'm hungry. I should go hit the Chipotle up across the street, or I just won't eat all day, or whatever. It's like, those couple things. Start with very simple, eliminate some basics if you do go out to eat a lot and drink a lot, and then just being prepared. Like, those are the easiest things to do besides telling someone to actually go out and track their food.
Yeah.
you know, to get into like the little nuances. But if you have nowhere to start, all of that, guarantee if you can be consistent with that, you will 1,000% see a change in your body over the next couple months, and then just figure out how you want to track that, whether it is scale weight, taking pictures, measurements. I mean, whatever works for you. But I mean, that's how I'd say do it. If you want to do daily weight, cool. If you want to do measurements, do it every 2 weeks. If you want to do pictures, I personally have all my clients do pictures weekly, just because I like to make little changes if necessary. But even if you didn't want to do that, every 2 weeks for pictures, maybe even every 4 weeks, so at the beginning of the month and at the end of the month, if you really want to, and
goals, right?
you don't know how to look at things, like whatever you can be consistent with is what I would say, right? Because the average person's not consistent, they're lost. They have nothing to adhere to. So I'd say just be consistent with whatever you choose to make changes. And if making too many changes overwhelms you, pick one thing. Pick one thing, dominate the shit out of it. And when you feel really good with that one thing, add another thing. That's one of the other, I have people doing that all the time, right?
Just mastering one skill at a time. Yeah.
Depends on your personality, your lifestyle, what you have for a job, all that stuff. If you can't go in it gung ho, don't.
Right.
And that's that all or nothing approach too.
Right? Yeah, for sure.
And that's where people feel like, well, I failed.
Yep.
Relax. I had somebody say that the other day to me, and she's like, well, I failed. I didn't go to the gym this weekend. It doesn't fucking matter. Just go this week. Like, you missed 2 days. You're not going to get fat. It doesn't fuck our program up. Like, shit happens. You didn't go. You didn't track that weekend. Like, that's fine. Just get back on the horse. Just go. Move forward.